A violent guerilla thunderstorm, accompanied by an unprecedented hailstorm, struck Hano City in southwestern Saitama Prefecture, turning standard suburban roads into what eyewitnesses described as flowing rivers of drift ice. The sudden weather anomaly, which occurred during the early afternoon hours, caused widespread disruption across the municipality, leading to flash floods, structural damage, and traffic paralysis, while highlighting the increasing unpredictability of atmospheric conditions in the Tokyo metropolitan area. According to the Japan Meteorological Agency, JMA, and local weather observations, the storm cells developed with extreme rapidity due to a highly unstable air mass hovering over eastern Japan. Cold air aloft collided with warm, humid air rising from the ground, creating massive cumulonimbus clouds that reached altitudes of nearly 10,000 meters. This vertical atmospheric structure acted as a natural ice-making factory in the sky, discharging a torrential downpour mixed with vast quantities of accumulated hail over Hano City within a single hour. The day began like any other typical early summer morning, with warm temperatures and scattered sunlight. However, shortly after midday, the atmospheric conditions took a dramatic turn. By approximately 12:40 p.m., the skies over Hano City darkened to an ominous black. Residents reported a sharp, sudden drop in temperature, accompanied by powerful gusts of wind, classic structural precursors to a severe downburst. The sound of heavy rain was overtaken by the deafening roar of millions of ice pellets striking roofs, balconies, and vehicles. The hail, ranging from the size of small peas to large marbles, fell with such density and volume that it quickly blanketed the ground, making the suburban landscape resemble a midwinter tundra in a matter of 15 minutes. Amateur video footage captured by residents in residential neighborhoods and broadcasted by national networks like NHK and TV Asahi showed a shocking sight. A local road roughly 6 meters wide, completely transformed into a surging torrent of white sludge. The sheer volume of ice pellets overwhelmed the local municipal drainage systems. Unable to escape, the accumulated hail floated on the rising flash floodwaters, drifting down the sloped streets like mini glaciers or Arctic pack ice. I have lived in Hano for over 40 years, and I have never seen anything like this, said a 67-year-old local shop owner who witnessed the event from his storefront. It wasn't just a regular heavy rain. The noise was terrifying, like gravel being dumped onto the roof from a massive truck. When I looked outside, the entire street was white, and the ice was actually flowing down the road like a river. It looked exactly like drift ice you would expect to see in Hokkaido during February, not here in Saitama in June. The JMA reported that Hano City logged an astounding 43 millimeters of rainfall within a single hour, ending at 1 p.m., with certain localized pockets experiencing an estimated peak intensity of 31.5 millimeters in an even shorter window. This volume easily secured its position as the heaviest and most disruptive single-hour rainfall event for the city so far this year. Meteorologists explain that this specific type of event is referred to locally in Japan as a guerilla thunderstorm. This term is used to describe highly localized, short-duration torrential downpours that are incredibly difficult to predict, with long lead accuracy using traditional forecasting models. An unusually strong sub-zero cold air mass moved over northern and eastern Japan, creating a sharp thermal contrast with the humid surface air heated by solar radiation. Micro-scale wind patterns converged directly over the mountainous borders of Saitama, forcing the warm air upward in a violent updraft. Inside the 10,000-meter high cloud formations, supercooled water droplets were repeatedly swept upward by updrafts into sub-freezing zones, freezing into ice, falling, gathering more moisture, and being pushed back up. This cycle continued until the weight of the ice stones overcame the strength of the ascending air currents, resulting in a sudden, massive release of hail. The severe weather system was not entirely isolated to Hano. After dumping its payload of ice and water on the city, The hyper-developed storm cell tracked eastward across the Kanto plain, maintaining its destructive momentum. By 1 p.m., the storm moved directly into neighboring Iruma City and subsequently Tokorozawa City. In Tokorozawa, the precipitation shifted from heavy hail to a vertical wall of torrential rain. The area surrounding the Belluna Dome, Seibu Dome, the home stadium of the Saitama Seibu Lions baseball team, was severely affected. Flash flooding turned the plaza outside the stadium into a shallow lake just hours before a scheduled event. Torrents of water breached the entrance barriers, sending waves of muddy water rippling through the train station gates and into the lower ticket concourses, forcing station staff to deploy sandbags and water vacuums in a race against the elements. Further east, the system triggered Level 3 heavy rain warnings in parts of western Tokyo, including Tachikawa and Kogane. Fuchu City in Tokyo logged 50 millimeters of rain in a single hour, while commuters at Tachikawa Station faced significant delays as internal roof structures suffered heavy leaks, forcing station operators to close off sections of the main turnstiles. In Hano City, the immediate aftermath of the storm presented a logistical nightmare for municipal emergency services. While the intense core of the storm passed relatively quickly, giving way to breaking sunlight just a few dozen minutes later, the sheer volume of solid ice left behind created ongoing hazards. Driving conditions became treacherous as the floating ice sludge reduced tire traction to near zero. Several vehicles became stranded in low-lying underpasses where the water and ice had pooled to depths of over half a meter. Local police departments rushed to cordon off flooded intersections, while road maintenance crews worked to clear blocked drainage grates choked with leaves, twigs, and packed hail. The timing of the storm raised serious concerns among local agricultural cooperatives. Hano and its surrounding rural valleys are home to various small-scale farms producing green tea, sayamacha variations, seasonal vegetables, and fruits. The physical impact of the high-velocity hailstones, combined with localized flash flooding, caused noticeable damage to vulnerable crop leaves and young plants, though a full economic assessment is expected to take several days. Dozens of residential calls were placed regarding torn plastic carports, damaged greenhouse structures, and minor flooding in basements and ground floor entryways. Fortunately, despite the visual chaos and property damage, local emergency medical centers reported no immediate life-threatening injuries directly attributed to the hail impact, largely due to the early warnings that prompted residents to seek shelter inside sturdy structures. An extraordinarily potent, fast-moving, and volatile atmospheric disturbance swept relentlessly across the Kanto region of Japan on Friday, June 12, 2026. The severe weather system plunged the nation's densely populated capital and its neighboring prefectures into an immediate meteorological crisis. Characterized by deafening thunderclaps, blinding chains of cloud-to-ground lightning, sudden localized downpours, and a devastating barrage of high-velocity hailstones, the event caught millions of commuting residents completely off guard during the afternoon and evening hours. In Fuchu City, the western Tokyo municipality sat directly beneath one of the most volatile convective cores. The Amidas station registered an astonishing 50 millimeters of concentrated rainfall within a single hour, peaking in the early afternoon at approximately 2 p.m. Streets were quickly converted into fast-flowing streams, trapping numerous vehicles in low-lying intersections. In Itabashi and Nerima Wards, high-resolution weather radar analysis indicated that localized microbursts within these dense residential wards triggered short-term downpours. Peak intensity estimates reached close to 100 millimeters per hour in highly concentrated bands during the late afternoon commute, resulting in severe water accumulation on primary roadways. In Asaka City, ground sensors and localized radar arrays tracking the northward movement of the storm cell registered a staggering short-term downpour rate of approximately 107 millimeters per hour. This massive volume of water completely choked local gutter systems, sending torrents of mud and debris cascading down public pathways. In response to the rapidly escalating danger, the JMA escalated its advisory framework, issuing a Level 3 heavy rain warning for multiple heavily populated sectors of the Tokyo metropolis. Municipalities specifically singled out for high alert monitoring included Tachikawa City and Koganai City, where local topographical depressions made them uniquely vulnerable to rapid flash flooding. The storm, from a typical heavy summer downpour into a highly destructive natural event, was the sudden precipitation of large, dense hailstones. According to meteorological physics experts, due to the extreme height of the storm clouds and the force of the downward drafts, these hailstones slammed into the ground at terminal velocities exceeding 100 kilometers per hour. Meanwhile, thousands of cars parked in open-air lots or driving along the Kanetsu and Chuo expressways sustained heavy damage. Shuttered windshields, cracked side mirrors, and deeply dented hoods were reported across Tokyo's western wards. The intense hail shattered thousands of fragile glass structures, including greenhouse panels and agricultural belts on the fringes of the metropolis, residential skylights, and glass canopies at suburban train entrances. Suburban farmers in outer Saitama and western Tokyo reported severe bruising and destruction of seasonal leafy vegetables, fruit orchards, and young crops, which were shredded by the relentless icy barrage. Dozens of individuals who were caught outdoors without immediate access to hard shelter suffered painful bruises and minor lacerations from direct impacts, prompting emergency medical services to urge people to stay indoors. The Tokyo Fire Department and regional emergency services were pushed to their absolute limits, deploying hundreds of rescue units to respond to localized emergencies. One of the most critical structural vulnerabilities during the storm involved suburban underpasses. Multiple passenger vehicles became buoyant after driving into deceptively deep pools of accumulated water beneath railway crossings. Emergency workers had to wade through chest-deep water to rescue trapped drivers in several sectors of western Tokyo. Continuous lightning strikes targeted electrical infrastructure, striking multiple transformers and high-voltage transmission lines across the Kanto area. The resulting power surges caused localized blackouts, temporarily knocking out traffic lights at major intersections and cutting electricity to thousands of residential homes in Saitama and Tokyo. To ensure passenger safety amid unpredictable track conditions and potential electrical failures, major railway operators instituted precautionary speed reductions and temporary service suspensions on several suburban lines. Commuters faced massive bottlenecks at major transit hubs like Shinjuku, Shibuya, and Ikebukuro stations.